Hello and welcome everybody to another fantastic episode here on Reddit Voice. I will be your host for the evening, Ryan, and let's just make a long story short and jump right into these videos. Buy my program when you fire me? No? Okay. Long story short, I was employed at a rather large factory which is one of the largest plant-based companies in the world, recently bought by an investment firm not so long ago. Anyways, I developed a program which was used at the factory. It could tell whenever any machines were not running, even if it was due to a manual stop or anything else. My program knew the reason why the machine was idling. The program made it so much easier for the entire factory, and workers were happy because they didn't need to do any manual work and write down every time the machine stopped. Lead up to about a year ago. Factory appoints a new chief. All the old employees that were in a leader position were let go because it was time for new blood to come in. There was a lot of talk about selling off parts of the factory, including machines and so on. The included programs that I had developed, including the program that identified whenever a machine stopped, I developed this program on my spare time, showed it to the old management, and they liked it enough that they wanted to use it on every station in the factory. Every machine was to use this program. All that had to be done for the program to be maintained weekly. This was around 5 years ago or so. When the newly appointed factory chief wanted to let the old employees, myself included, leave, it was not known that I was the person behind the program. Anyways, at my meeting with HR and the factory chief, I said I was willing to sell them the program and teach someone how to maintain the program. The factory chief laughed in my face and said it was company property and that it was simply their program and not mine. I offered to show them the source code and everything, but it led up to the point where I was to tamper with the program before my departure. They would sue me. I was officially let go, 2-month countdown began, and after 2 months I was free. After a week or so, they noticed problems with the program. It would stop loading, stop registering stops, and it would mislabel stops. I knew that this was when the fun was about to begin. After a month, I was called into the office and was told I had tampered with the program because it had suddenly stopped working. I let them know that someone had to maintain it. I was ordered to teach someone how to do that job, and I told them, after you pay me for the program rights. They wouldn't budge, and I was told to return to work. When I had a week left, I strolled around the factory floor for a while and noticed that no stations were running my program anymore. I asked some operators why that was, and they told me, it just stopped working. Now we need to fill out forms every time the machine stops manually. I shrugged and told them to thank the factory chief. I left after that week, got a phone call about a month after I left where they begged me to sell them the rights to teach someone how to maintain it. I never sold them that program. Instead, I sold an improved version to another factory nearby where I am now employed. Edit. I see some are saying that I'm in the wrong based on US law. Just editing here to let you know that this did not take place in the US. I made the program during my spare time at home or on my home computer. After introducing the program to the former factory chief, I was allowed to try it out on the machine and test it. The maintenance was done on my office computer. After a few months, I was allowed to roll it out to the entire factory. It wasn't done overnight, lots of debugging to do. I've not heard anything from the company for nearly a year, so it would be weird for them to suddenly come after me now. Just wanted to make that clear. Dress up for a tour of our workspace? Okay, boss. I work in a data center, and obviously every day presents itself with something new. Sit at a desk all day sometimes. Yep. Crawl across the ladder racks running fiber next day. Yep. Therefore, you dress for comfort and any situation, which is generally jeans, t-shirt, sneakers, and for me, a fleece jacket because it's cold as balls. Many years back, our boss informs us that his boss and a few other VPs are coming in for a tour and we need to be dressed up. His boss is new to him and he wants us to make a good impression. But when we ask for clarification, he didn't have an answer. Just look nice. Cue malicious compliance. There were only 5 of us working in this location and 3 of the 4 guys had tuxedos. The other one, a nice suit. I had a great floor-length formal gown. So on the day in question, we arrived earlier than usual in our spiffiest duds. When our boss arrived, he straight panicked. He was convinced that this would not go over well. We calmly explained that he's the one that told us to dress up, and we had. Plus, there was no time for us to change before the tour was going to arrive. A few minutes later, his boss rolls up and the five of us, plus our boss, are in front of the lobby to greet them. Our boss is terrified. He came through the door, took one look, and almost fell over. I've never seen anyone laugh so hard in my life. He insisted on taking pictures of us and with us, and said it was the best thing he'd seen in a long time. Our boss, of course, then switched gears and acted like he'd been in on it and thought we were hilarious too. Okay. Our photo made the second level walls and even went out during a team meeting a few weeks later. It's still one of my favorite work memories, and our boss is much more succinct going forward when he wanted us to dress up. Returns require a ticket, but you won't respond to tickets? Okay, I'll make you respond. I worked for an IT company a while back and needed to do a return on a faulty computer component. My tickets would be constantly closed as complete from the vendor with no information given. We realized they used the same ticketing system as us due to a loop created by auto-responses back and forth from both systems. We stopped the issue on our side and said, oh well, that's good to know. After a few weeks and 50+ tickets, I was no closer to a resolution. My strategy at that time was spamming them with tickets as they were very easy to create in their system. I tried calling, I'd leave voicemails, but messages stated all returns are done via their online ticketing system. Okay. I spent my ticket to every department several times a day after getting no responses from the returns department or my voicemails. Clearly, the tickets could be closed just as easily on their end with no care or repercussion. Then I realized I had the answer all along. I asked my boss to remove the new rules he had implemented to stop the loop of responses. He set another rule to basically auto-clear the response right after it's received and we've already auto-responded. That was to ensure it doesn't crash the ticketing system, given this was generating a response every few seconds. And I was going to do this on 5 tickets. These responses also generate an email being sent back and forth. That should make several hundred emails per minute. Better yet, I'm fairly certain images were getting relayed with each response. On an older, more poorly set up system, that's a whole lot of traffic and data coming in. Even worse if no one knows what's happening or how to stop it. Many companies don't have an IT department due to an overall need. They outsource to companies like mine to fulfill those needs. It took less than an hour. We received a frantic call from the vendor asking to stop the auto responses from our system because they didn't know how. It had basically taken down their email server because it was full and no one knew how to fix it. Oh, sorry about that. I'm glad you called though. I wasn't sure anyone worked at your company because I've been trying to contact you for weeks. We didn't notice a problem on our end, but we can see what's going on now. Must be a different setup. Weird. I had a credit for the part we needed before we ended the call. I hung up the phone victorious, called the boss and told him to put the rule back. We never bought from them again. Too long didn't read? Vendor keeps closing my tickets and won't answer. I let our system crash theirs due to auto responses. They called to ask us to stop. We did, and I got the credit from the vendor. Hold your horses. More like snarky compliance, but I still think it fits. Obligatory on mobile. Sorry for formatting. A few years back, I used to work at a pottery shop where we held various biscuit pieces. I probably mispronounced that, but it's clay that's been molded and then fired in a kiln that you could paint. We would then glaze and fire the pieces once more. I loved this job. Families painting together and kids' birthday parties were common in the shop, so Steph, the owner / my boss, had a kids' corner. Mostly it was various small animals as well as different sizes of tiles. Anyway, one busy Saturday, Steph was quite stressed at the shop and fairly busy with a big birthday party and many other tables filled. I was asked a question that I didn't know the answer to, so off I went to ask Steph. Being that she was a bit frustrated, she snapped at me. Hold your horses, okay? Okay then. So off I went to the kids' corner. It just so happened that we had gotten some small horses in the corner. I have to stress that I literally have never seen horses in the kids' corner since that day, or before. So I grabbed one in each hand and went back over to Steph, stoically holding my horses. She was confused. What are you doing? She asked me. You told me to hold my horses, so... I shrugged. Her bad mood was obliterated. She cracked up. She thought it was funny, so she took a photo of me holding my horses. I'm pretty sure it's still hanging up in the shop. Good times. I missed that job. And with that, my friends, we've reached the end of today's r/MaliciousCompliance. If you liked it, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all our latest videos. As always, my name's Ryan, I'm the official host here on Reddit Voice, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys in the next video.